Welcome back to our podcast, Redeemed. We are, once again, back continuing to talk about Moses. We're just trying to hit the highlights of what Moses does, or doesn't do in some cases. But there's a lot of good things from Genesis to Exodus, and we just want to pick out some of the main stories and just talk about those because there were so many interesting things that happen along with those stories. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I was talking to my dad. I don't like to use the word stories. I like the word narrative.
Yeah.
Because stories has a different kind of connotation to it nowadays.
Yeah.
Stories can be taken as, well, they're just stories, they're not true.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We're taking stuff from the Bible. It's a narrative. It's true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. And I just kind of wanted to recap there because if we do have any new viewers.
For our new fans out there.
For our new fans. If you are just now joining us, I just wanted to kind of give you an update of what we're trying to do. Otherwise, it might seem like we're just talking about
stories.
Yeah, stories.
That didn't happen. Mm-hmm. These did.
But no, we're talking about some narratives, some things that did happen, and then we try to pull some kind of lesson from those. And we've talked about Moses and the plagues and the cross and the Red Sea. I mean, we've been with Moses a long time. There's a lot of things.
Pretty important character.
Yeah, in Moses' journey, they're just pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. He was, to use a new term, he would be the main character throughout the...
Yeah, and he would have like a 12-part
Exodus.
series or 15-part series, you know?
Yeah, if you were playing the Exodus video game, Moses would be the
You're
main
playing
character.
Moses.
Yeah. For a long time.
For a long time.
You'd be like, wow, did this guy ever die?
Yeah. Does another character ever come in?
Uh-huh. No,
it's just him.
Aaron, but you don't want to be Aaron.
You don't want to be Aaron.
No. Most
That's
of
a
the
bad
characters
mission.
We're going to find out why.
So, on this particular podcast, we're going to talk about the golden calf. We skipped over a couple of things.
Speaking
We just,
of
like I
Aaron.
said, we just want to talk about some of the more major, mainstream things that you hear about. So, chapter 32 in Exodus, the golden calf. So, to give you kind of some background, Moses is up on the mountain. He's talking to God. He's been up there a long time. We Googled it or figured it out according to commentary that he was up there for about 6 weeks.
Yeah, those in the commentaries.
Yeah,
in the
commentary.
It's a long time.
Quest Bible?
Thank you, Quest Bible.
Okay. In the Quest Bible side commentary there, it says he was up there 6 weeks. Now, that's a long time.
It's like a month and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the people...
Especially for the Israelites, because they're just literally
They're
sitting
hanging
around
out.
not doing anything.
We're just waiting.
So we're just sitting around waiting for this guy who went up a mountain. Mm-hmm. He's dead.
Yep. That's what they thought. He was dead. And so they make a decision. Personally, I think it was a bad decision.
Bad decision.
And, as we were sitting here discussing this before we started this podcast, it's like God is up there on the mountain. From the description that they have in some of the previous chapters, you knew God was there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and he's been leading you with the pillar of fire or the cloud.
And at this point, he's killed people.
Yeah.
And
Lots of people.
It's like, okay. And so your first initial response here is to what? Is to then go to Aaron, which then, I don't know exactly what to think of Aaron at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. I personally, I think he made a big mistake.
Yes.
Okay. So they go to him. And maybe it's because he got scared. Because these people are grumping.
Yeah,
and they're turning against him. So he figured, I got to try to keep some kind of resemblance.
I'll take their side.
Yeah. Okay.
You're right. Moses is dead.
Yeah.
He's never coming back.
Yeah. And it's just interesting to
make
me,
it count.
even some of the way that the stuff is put in the scripture here. It says, they go to Aaron and they say, "Come make us gods who will go before us." Okay. As for this Moses,
guy.
Yeah.
Like there's not even any respect.
Like he
there for the
hasn't
fe-
been literally leading you guys out of slavery. First off.
Mm-hmm.
They just say this guy Moses who brought us up out of Egypt.
Who even is this?
Yeah, we don't know what has happened to him. Okay, so that part I get. Okay, we don't know what's happened to him, so maybe we need to do something. Mm-hmm. And Aaron answers them. He says, "Take off your gold earrings and that your wives, your sons, your daughters are wearing, and bring them to me." And what does he make? He makes a calf.
Yeah, and Aaron thinks, "Oh, good idea, guys. We should do something."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, Aaron.
And then he says that these are our gods, Israel, who brought you up out of Egypt. These are your gods.
And Aaron, he got there really fast.
Yeah.
All they said was we don't know what happened to Moses. He's like, you know what? Let's make an idol.
We better make a calf.
I don't get how.
It's the only thing we know how to do.
Why did he go there so fast?
Yeah, and
No, not hey, maybe we should just wait a sec.
Yeah, or let's send somebody up to check on him.
Let's go see if he's okay. Any of those things.
He's like, you know what? Get me some gold.
You know what we do? We make a calf.
yeah.
I don't get it.
It's the only thing we can do.
Yeah.
And then he takes a step further, and so then tomorrow he announces that they're going to what? They're going to have a festival.
Obviously.
Okay. So now we're going to worship a false idol made of gold.
And we're all going to get hammered.
Exactly. And afterwards, they sat down to eat and drink, and they got up and they indulged in reverie.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
We spiraled so fast,
It was
guys.
so fast.
So quickly.
Like, was that all one day? It sounds like that was all one day.
One day.
And then the next day they partied, and
But-
it was like, wow, a lot happened on that one day.
But there's something to pull from there, too, because we will do the same thing.
Don't spiral.
Yeah, don't spiral.
Stop the spiral.
But don't we do the same thing? It doesn't take
Yeah.
us long to forget who God is.
So true.
I mean, even us Christians who follow the Lord, I mean, we can be just as deceived as quickly, and pretty soon we're spiraling out of control, and we don't even know who God is anymore.
Yeah.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And now, granted, we're probably not bound down to worship a golden calf, but we have other things that we'll worship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
So, I mean, it's not as far-fetched as what you think, because we see it in our day and age now, how people just fall away so quickly.
So quickly.
But then I like some other things that go on, okay? So all this is going on down there. Moses is still on the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord then says to Moses, go down because your people, whom you brought up out of Egypt. So it's not these people that I brought up out of Egypt.
Those people that you got out of
Moses-
Egypt,
yeah.
go take care of
Yeah,
that.
it's your fault now.
It's like when your son does something wrong and he's your son all of a
Yeah,
sudden.
yeah.
Like, whoa. They're my people now?
And he says, you whom you have brought out of Egypt have become corrupt. Excuse me.
First off, God, these are your people.
These are your people.
Although maybe God said that because Moses saved their lives, 2 or 3 times?
He's fixing to do it again.
Yeah.
I know. It's just
He's
like
interceded for that
Uh-huh.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
So that's why God's like, okay, fine.
They're your
These
They're
people
yours
that
then.
you wanted me to save.
Then they belong to you.
Yeah.
You deal with them.
Yeah.
Because I've had enough.
Yeah.
I wanted to wipe them out years ago.
Yeah, it says, they have been quick to turn away from what I commanded them, and they have made themselves an idol cast in the shape of a calf. Which, once again, there's nothing that
Why
you
a
can do that
calf?
God doesn't know.
And why a calf?
Yeah, why calf?
Never
It's
makes
like a
sense to me.
dragon.
Well,
or
apparently,
something.
according to Aaron a little bit later, they just threw it in there, and that's what came out.
That's what happened.
It was crazy. We've never seen anything like this.
Yeah. All right, so.
So Moses takes those. You already talked about he was up there doing the 10 Commandments, right? Did you already talk about that?
No, not yet. We're
okay.
getting to that part. So at this point, while he's up there on the mountain, he is also getting the 10 Commandments.
Yes.
Okay. But I think there's some other things to look here. It says, I have seen these people, the Lord said to Moses. They are stiff-necked people. Now leave me alone so that my anger may burn against them, and that I may destroy them, and then I will make you into a great nation. It's not the first time he said that.
No.
Okay. But once again, Moses seeks the favor of the Lord and says, no, you can't do that because that would look bad on you. So you can't do it. So then Moses turns and went down the mountain with the 2 tablets of the covenant of the law in his hand. They were inscribed on both sides and then he runs into Joshua. I have a feeling Joshua was somewhere on the mountain waiting for Moses to come down. Is kind of what I get the feeling.
Yeah, they make it sound. It reads like Joshua was halfway. Like they had another camp halfway up the mountain,
And they were waiting for Moses to come down.
Yep.
And so when Joshua heard the noise of the people shouting, he said, which I love Joshua. We're going to talk about him a little bit later too. But Joshua was a fantastic person.
Another main character.
Yeah, he was on it. When Joshua heard the noise of the people shouting, he said to Moses, there's a sound of war in the camp. Moses replied, that's not the sound of victory you hear. It's the sound of defeat. It's the sound of singing that I hear.
It is not the sound of defeat.
Mm-hmm.
It is the sound of singing that I hear.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is the part I hope that I can get like a camera angle. If you just had Moses' face as he walks down the mountain, he's got the stone tablets in his hand,
Written by
Yeah.
God.
written by God, and those are not light.
Yep.
He's carried them
not.
down the mountain,
Yep.
and he gets to the base of
And
the
the
mountain.
dude's old. I mean, he's old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is old.
And then he sees everything that just spirals.
Sees the calf, sees the dancing.
And personally, I think so. He talks to God, and he's okay. He's got God
Yep.
calm down. And then as he's walking down the mountain,
Sees
all of a sudden he begins to get angry too. It's like, and the more he walks, the further he walks down the mountain, the madder he gets.
In my head, in my vision, he comes around the mountain, and he's already at the base when he sees everything.
Yeah.
He's like, "What's going on,
Like he turns
guys?"
a corner.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Turns a corner, and whoa, what do we got here? Is that a calf?
Yeah. And when he approaches he sees the calf and the dancing, his anger burned.
Yeah.
And what does he do? He throws the tablets out of his hands, breaking them to pieces at the foot of the mountain. Probably not his best call.
No.
No, because now he's got to go talk to God and see if he can get another copy.
You know those tablets you gave me?
Yeah.
Something happened to them.
Yeah, I broke them. I dropped them. I tripped. I dropped them.
That's why I want the camera, because I've been angry before, and I get it. You spike something down or whatever. You deal with what you're dealing with. So he goes over. He throws the calf into the fire, and then in my head I picture it. He turns around, sees the tablets. So come on, and then back up the mountain he goes.
Yeah.
I just got those down here.
Yeah.
And then I also like the fact that he took the calf that the people had made, burned it in the fire, then he ground it to powder, scattered it on the water, and made the Israelites drink it.
Now,
He was not happy.
he washed their mouths out with soap.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
Yeah. And then, of course, he's not done. He turns to Aaron and says, "What did these people do to you that you led them into such great sin?" And Aaron, of course, gives a very lame excuse.
Yeah. He passes that buck
Yeah,
so
he
fast.
blames it on the people.
I don't know.
It's all
Yeah.
their fault, and I just threw the jewelry in there and it came out of calf. I don't understand what happened. And once again, the commentary says that it just showed the spiritual decline of the leadership, other than Moses at that point.
That's like a 5-year-old excuse, by the way.
Oh yeah,
That's something a 5-year-old would tell you.
Yeah.
It came out like that.
Yeah. Yep.
Really? So we took all their jewelry, we threw it in the fire, and then out came a calf.
yeah. Did it walk?
Yep. That's what I saw.
That's literally what happened. Were you here?
Yeah. I mean, listen, tell me a first grader wouldn't tell you that exact same thing.
Yeah. And then blame it. You know how evil they are. You've met these people.
I actually saw Tim. He was the one that grabbed it out of the fire. That was crazy,
So maybe
right?
go talk to him about the whole
Yeah.
calf thing.
Yeah. So anyway, not the best excuse, but that's what he gives Moses, and Moses, of course, is not happy with that.
No.
But he's not done with the people yet. Okay. So he made them eat the gold, but he's not done. We're going to kill a few of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a few.
Let me
3,000.
send a message.
Yep, 3,000 of them. And so, which I don't quite understand how that worked, but he had the Levites who he said, for those of you who are with the Lord, come forward. And all the Levites rallied against him. He gave them a sword, and basically they went out and killed their friends and neighbors and brothers, which I don't quite understand all of that. I have to do some research in the commentaries to figure out why he did it that way. But he was making a statement
Yeah.
that sin does not go unpunished. And once again, he goes back up the mountain, and he talks to God. And
Hey, God, it's me. I'm back.
Bad
I wonder
news.
if all that's going on, and in his head he's thinking, I should have let God wipe him out.
I do wonder if it ever crossed his mind. Oh, because
After he
did this a
intercedes.
few times of having to intercede for the people. If ever he was like, I should have just let him.
Yeah.
Should have let God go.
These guys are driving me nuts,
Yeah.
and now they're my people, apparently.
Yeah. Should have done it by myself. Because, and that's another thing. So what would have happened if he had just told God, yes, I do it, instead of making all the excuses and then God gives him Aaron? You know what I'm saying?
I feel like someone else would have
Probably.
been like,
It's
let's
probably
make
true.
a calf.
Probably true. But it's like,
But yeah.
That's
like,
fair.
Moses, if you just done it by yourself like the Lord wanted you to.
Yeah. At some point, he probably still would have ended up with a second
Oh, you have to. I don't
in
think you can do it
command
all
at
by
that
yourself.
point.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure one of the Levites would have.
Done
Fallen
something.
too.
Done something dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Lord replies to Moses. So this is after he goes and he intercedes for him again. So Moses went back to the Lord and said, "Oh, what a great sin these people have committed. They have made themselves gods of gold. But now please forgive their sin. But if not, then blot me out of the book you have written." So he's asking to take the blame for people, which I get, because he's supposed to be in charge of them, and so some of their mistakes also fall on him.
Yep.
I understand how leadership works.
Yeah. Again, that's another one of those things where he's thinking in his head, he's like, I know I have to take responsibility for this, but Aaron, you were in charge while I was on the mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell
Yeah.
God that.
You are killing me right now, Aaron. Now I got to go talk to God.
Yeah.
He's not going to be happy about this.
Nope,
He's already
not.
mad.
And the Lord replied to Moses, "Whoever has sinned against me, I will blot out of my book. Whoever sinned against me. Now go lead the people to the place I have spoke of, and my angel will go before you. However, when the time comes for me to punish, I will punish them for their sin." Your compressor's on. And the Lord struck the people with a plague because they did for what they did with the calf Aaron had made.
That Aaron had made.
Aaron had made. So once again,
Looks like Aaron's story isn't holding up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So once again, God wipes a bunch more of them out. You know, I would like to see how many he really wiped out in total.
Yeah, have the numbers of what they started with to what they finished with.
Yeah, because, I mean, we have the ground opening up. We've got, I mean, there's so many different ways God punished these people. Snakes, plagues. I mean, oh my goodness. And yet just like everything else,
it just continues.
Yeah, and they just turn around as quickly as possible. You know, but that's really the lesson that we want to pull from here.
Yes.
Is, you know, there might be times when we feel like the leadership has failed us, or we feel like God is distant. Because I think that's part of the problem is that God felt distant to him because for 6 weeks he's been up on the mountain. You know what I'm saying? So God felt distant. They weren't getting that communion with God like they were before.
Right.
And those are dangerous times, because I feel like in every Christian's life there's going to come a time where God seems a little far away. And if we're not careful, we can let the things of the devil in, and then all of a sudden he has completely led us astray.
Just like that.
So we have to be careful that we stick to what we know.
Yes.
Okay, the Israelites knew what they were supposed to do.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, they knew they were just supposed to be patient, wait on the Lord. But
it's another
brings
lesson
up another
there,
thing.
too. Yep.
We as people are not good with patience.
No.
We want it now. And so 6 weeks, that was too much. The patience has run out, and now we're trying to make our own decisions. And isn't that just, I mean, it is a perfect example of who we as people are. I mean, we make fun of these Israelites because, man, why can't they figure it out? But we do the same thing. Facts. I mean, we forget the Lord so quickly.
Yeah.
So, the lesson here.
Don't forget the Lord.
Don't forget
the Lord.
Be patient.
Don't get impatient.
Yes.
Okay? If he does seem distant, just keep on keeping on.
Mm-hmm. Just keep on trucking.
Because eventually he is going to come back down the mountain.
Yep.
And he has some directions for him in the ways of the Ten Commandments. All right? But we just have to be patient, wait on the Lord, and do the things he wants us to do. Don't give up on it. No. And don't be going, well, the Lord's not here, so let's make a different God. So, you know, let's not do that.
Don't do that.
That's not a good call.
All right? Not recommend.
No. It doesn't work out well for anybody. Well, for anybody. So really, that's the lesson I want you to pull from this as we're continuing looking at Moses, is just don't give up on the Lord. If he feels like he's distant for a moment, just give it time.
Yes.
Keep praying. Keep doing the things you know you're supposed to do. And maybe God's just trying to test you. I mean, part of what I think was going on there was he was testing the Israelites.
Yeah.
And they failed miserably.
Yep.
Not even close, honestly.
Yeah. But that being said, I don't want to make too much fun of them because we do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had just human nature. That's what we do.
I say it all the time. Missed it by that much.
So anyway, y'all guys have a great rest of your week, and we will see you next time.